crazy and black and poor, existing in the oppositional periphery of wealthy and white well-being. I scream in the silence of my stigmas. My existence is taboo conversation. Crazy and black and poor feels like being pregnant with fire you can't deliver. Flammable at the onset of conception, treading lightly so as to not detonate, trying not to give birth to atom bombs. Crazy and black and poor. Gasoline babies in tender wombs cannot be aborted, will not miscarry. I am forever pregnant with blowtorch. Did you know that healthy people breathe from their bellies? Crazy and black and poor is hopelessness that chokes like ventless, smoke-filled rooms, forgotten households gestating Dante's Inferno, suffocating in subhuman conditions, legs crossed to keep the poverty and psychosis from spilling between thighs, gasoline overflowing from fuel pumps with struck matches nearby, incandescent black fire, lava rivers trickling down sizzling volcanoes. What does schizophrenia look like when it's contagious? When the whole street is mad, when the whole neighborhood wants to scratch its burning skin off and die and be resurrected as cancer because at least cancer thrives. Cancer, crazy. Crazy is waiting for God to perform a miracle in a zip code he forgot he created. Black skin meandering between corner, carry out, and coda bus. Concealed weapons, consumed street medication for controversial sickness. It's epidemic hidden as elementary math. Black, colored, poor equals crazy. Crazy, black, and poor. But not that real kind of crazy. This is just some exhausted black crazy. Pregnant with Langston Hughes' deferred dream crazy. Lay hands on us crazy. Pray for our strength in the Lord crazy. Balance our serotonin crazy. Tell God we're still here crazy. Our bellies are on fire. Our souls are filled with gasoline and we're trying not to explode. I wrote this poem back in 2015 to remember the desperation of growing up black and poor. But I no longer accept that I will burn out or that my fate is death. I want to be fire, but I don't want to be incinerated by my own flames. So I'm just crazy enough to believe that we can stop whole communities of black and brown people from going up in a blaze of trauma and mental illness. I have made a decision right here and right now to engage the fire inside. And so if faith without works is dead, then I'm asking you in the next several minutes to believe with me, to walk with me through the steps that I'm taking now to move from sickness to wellness. So the first step is respecting fire. When we disrespect and we don't understand fire, it can be a death sentence. Fire can and will kill you, but trauma is a fire and it can kill us too. And that fire looks like death, desertion, divorce, drugs, depression, dysfunctional households, especially if you've experienced any of these things by or before the age of 18. And the fires that we shrug off, that we brush off, that we whatever, those serious conditions, if we don't respect them, they come back to haunt us. And the hauntings look like our causes of death: cancer, diabetes, kidney, liver, and lung disease, homicide, HIV, injuries, strokes. And if it doesn't kill us, these hauntings make us socially, emotionally, and physically sick. Abuse, autoimmune diseases, gastrointestinal and gut diseases, promiscuity, obesity, even smoking. our emotional traumas can eventually kill us physically. And for those of us who experience multiple traumas, we are at risk of dying 20 years before the average person. I no longer accept that I'll burn out or that my fate is death. So the second step is extinguishing bad fire. Stigma is a bad fire, and it needs to be extinguished. Crazy and black and poor. Poor does not necessarily mean classless and ignorant. Black does not automatically mean thugs, criminals, and welfare moms. When I grew up in a lot of black communities, including the King Lincoln District, I remember walking to the bus stop and passing drug addicts on their way to get high. And I remember going to school and studying chemistry. I remember having to ration scarce portions of food. And I remember my brother studying culinary arts to become a sous chef. I remember being in my house and having to duck on the floor when we heard bullets out on the street. And I remember being on that same floor stretching after track practice and volleyball practice. I remember attending funerals of classmates. And I remember my mom attending evening classes to study cognitive psychology in a PhD program. So for those of you out there who have your own inner city and urban stories, you know anxiety. You know suicide ideation, rage, single moms, zombie parenting through numbness and desperation. For some on the surface, that does look like crazy and black and poor. But stopping there diminishes the whole story and being linked from black trauma to black excellence. Crazy and black and poor is a stigma. It's a bad fire. And we have to put it out in totality by defining things correctly and speaking truth. We will no longer let people label us as crazy because we were disenfranchised, under-resourced, because we had a problem de-escalating due to pervasive stress and trauma. We are not crazy. We can't breathe. And any living thing will appear to be crazy when it's fighting for its next breath. I do not accept that I will burn out or that my fate is death. So this third step is feeding good fire. Some fires are destructive, but other fires are productive. The flame of mental health, as opposed to the dynamite of mental illness, is warming and illuminating. When I made the decision that I would no longer accept death, when I made the decision that I would not burn out, when I accepted that I was sane but spent, that my black was beautiful, that my poverty was provisional, then that meant that I accepted that I needed to change my life and my mind. Being born of the African diaspora, being born into a dysfunctional household, generational poverty, meant that there were some statistics based on trauma that I couldn't escape. But there was one particular statistic that I knew that my family had to break right away. Blacks and Hispanics are less likely than whites to get counseling. So arguably, those who are experiencing the most trauma are the least likely to get help. That could not be my family's story. My mom goes to therapy, I go to therapy, my kids go to therapy. We are a family that practices being well. And I've dedicated my whole life to being holistically well, to transforming trauma scars into resilient stories. I'm always going to be black. By the grace of God, hopefully I'll never again be poor. But I have the power to ensure that crazy is a lie that I never again tell myself. We can no longer accept that our communities will burn out or that anyone's fate is death. We can no longer allow anyone to drown in the darkness in that sea of mental illness. We need to repurpose fire for life and not death. We shall live and not die. Historically, mariners in stormy seas would fight those troubled waters, and they were guided to safety by fire that was built on top of hilltops. We now refer to those fires, those guideposts, as lighthouses. I purpose fire. I create systems of care out of fire. Relationships between lighthouses. Networks of people navigating disenfranchised people to safety. We use art and writing for advocacy. We facilitate dialogues of dynamic tension. We trailblaze by redesigning systems. We take programs and pipelines and create things through subject matter experts. And we're in the process of building safe houses. Will you join my network of lighthouses? And if you're willing to do so, will you be willing to practice the first things we ever learned about fire safety? There were 3 words from elementary school. Stop, drop, and roll. Absolutely. So first, we're going to stop. Stop burning down lighthouses with stigmas. We're going to interrupt ignorance with education. Stop casually using words like crazy, bipolar. Stop casually using words like triggered. Check your biases. Change your language. So if we stop that, then we're going to drop. We're going to drop our egos, and we're going to invest in practicing being well. I have a friend, a close friend of mine, and she says that normal people are just people that we don't know. So let's stop pretending like we're perfectly well. Journal, meditate, go to counseling. If you prescribe prescription medications, take them and take them appropriately. Put good food in your body, move and exercise, get sleep, practice being well. So we stop, we drop, then we're going to roll. Let's roll with people who are invested in holistic health and wellness just like us. Be philanthropic with your money to benefit people who are disenfranchised and are Black and brown regarding mental health. Volunteer your time and your talents to disenfranchised communities, and then pursue careers in behavioral health care. We are not crazy. We are a growing network of lighthouses. We are kings and queens linked in to an intergenerational bronze vitality, prayed up, serotonin balanced. God is with us. Our souls are on fire. Our bellies are full of light. And we are fireworks of promise and of life. Thank you.